I think he's fantastic, Carl. Listen, all the finalists were amazing, as you know, right? The governor, his career has been absolutely unbelievable. You look at the senator, obviously his career has been unbelievable. But two people have to have chemistry, and my father has unbelievable chemistry with JD. You know, if you look at him, he actually mirrors a lot of the life of my father. He became incredibly successful in the private industry, took that, leaped into government, really accelerated, his kind of public service career, very, very quickly. And in terms of actually being on policy, they are in lockstep on every single policy, and they're really tied at the hip. And you also have a young guy who can carry the torch, later on, and I think the Republican Party needs that. So JD's amazing, smart guy, Yale Law School. I can't wait to see him debate Kamala, whoever's on that side of the ticket, when we end up finding out who it's ultimately going to be. Right. But he's a brilliant guy. Again, great rapport with us, great rapport with my father, great rapport with everybody. And
sure.
I think it's going to be an awesome ticket.
Yeah, one thing, Eric, we talked about unity. They brought in Nikki Haley to give the unity speech, and there's a number of other people that weren't always Trump fans that are trying to bring in. Now, the other thing is the network side. So your brother, obviously Don Jr., made some waves, didn't hold back. He called out Fox News on some things. Listen to that real quick.
Stick with Rupert Murdoch. What does this mean about his influence?
I imagine it's not what it used to be, right? There was a time where if you wanted to survive in the Republican Party, you had to bend the knee to him or to others. I don't think that's the case anymore. I haven't noticed any of my metric, any of my following, any of my stuff on my own podcast. It hasn't changed because I don't have a presence on Fox News. So for me and for so many others who've been sort of blacklisted, I don't think it matters that much anymore.
Can we all get on the same team again?
Listen, I'd love to. I'd absolutely love to. And you hear about these unity calls, right, within the party, and I always laugh. This is coming from me. The people from the Democratic Party always talk about creating unity, yet it's actually the party. You had Kamala Harris, who called Joe Biden a racist countless times. Countless times. Remember, she talked about busing. She talked about, and then I go over to, CNBC or one of these places or MSNBC, and hey, can you please be the party of unity? I'm just shocked that there's not more unity. It's like, look at your own party, you absolute hypocrites. But listen, aside from that, Carl, I think the media's, a lot of the media, I'm not talking about you guys, I'm not talking about some of the big networks, they've been so discredited. They literally has carried, they've carried his water for years and years and years. And then all of a sudden you go into this debate and Biden has a disastrous debate. And all of a sudden they realize that it's not working anymore and people no longer believe them. They've lost the credibility with the people. They've really lost their standing. And I think that's why, to Don's point, some of the podcasts, some of these independent voices are really becoming, powerful.
Sure, like Joe Rogan. I mean, everybody called him crazy, and now he's got 14 million listeners every single night. Real quick before I let you go, there's all these people that have said all these horrible, horrible things about the assassination attempt on your father. And it's like, do you harbor ill will against them? Or do you say, like, hey, guys, pull your head out of the sand and get back into the big tent. Let's make America great again?
No, I want to make America great again. At the same time, buddy, I almost saw my father's head get blown off on live TV with two children sitting on my lap, and it's unacceptable. Civil wars have been started in countries for far less than that, right? I mean, think about the standing that the world would look at the U.S. like if that would have happened, if that would have been on full display. Not just to mention the horrid act. And we've got to protect our leaders, and we've got to be better than this. I mean, we pay billions and billions and billions of dollars a year to agencies to make sure people don't have bullets ripped through their ear by the grace of God and not kill them. And it was a failure. And then you talk to the Secret Service director, and it's because we had a sloped roof. Carl, the roof had about 2 degrees of pitch on it. In fact, the roof that the counter snipers were on were exponentially steeper than the one that they were on. So yes, we didn't put assets on that roof, and yet my father almost died that day. And it's infuriating to me. And it's typical government. They probably won't do a damn thing about it. There'll be a couple investigations, and they'll sweep it under the rug. And the problem is, I'm not even sure if America trusts what the outcome of those investigations will be. It'll be done by the FBI. These are the same people who let the Russia hoax perpetrate for a 3-year period of time. And there's got to be real change in this country. We look so damn weak around the world. And my father's the guy to do it. And I'm proud to stand by his side. And I'm proud to speak right before him tomorrow night. And it's been such a beautiful convention. And buddy, we're going to make America great again. We're going to do it for you. We're going to do it in the honor of the military, something that's so close to you. But we're going to make America great again.